It's getting harder to sell your house and you need some advice. Here's a couple tips I think that will be very helpful, not only today, but in a what is probably going to be a pretty tough market, maybe even through the winter time and first part of next year. So what we're seeing right now is sellers are doing a lot of concessions. Okay, what does concession mean? Well, in a really hot market, whether it's a seller's market, buyers come in, you got 5 buyers, they all want the house, maybe you bid up the house. In a slower average market, or even as we get into a buyer's market, sellers are having to do price reductions. They finally get the house under contract. Buyers are now asking for repairs. And so how can you bulletproof your transaction and get yourself to the closing table as best as possible? One thing that I think that we're going to start seeing a lot more of is pre-inspections. So how much is an inspection? It may vary in your area. Around here, depending on the size of the house, you might spend $350, $400. That can be some of the best money you spend on your house. I mean, replacing the floor is going to be X amount of dollars, replacing your roof, X amount of dollars. If you know what is going to come up in the inspection, you can prepare for that. Okay? And then you can let buyers know what is wrong with it. So, for an example, I just did a video about strategies of how to get inspection requests or do something like that. So we'll use the electrical panel. So let's say you have your home pre-inspected, okay, and the inspector goes through the house and he says, hey, you got a couple windows that are starting to fog up, looks like those seals are bad. You've got one outlet out in the garage, it's not grounded. And by the way, your electrical panel is outdated. It's a blank, blank, blank electrical panel, and that's not going to pass FHA or VA. In this market, you can pretty much guarantee that a buyer may be asking for either price reduction once you're under contract, or a credit, or electrical panel replacement. And so it behooves you to be upfront about that or have that work done. Now, not everybody can have that work done. However, if you can tell the buyer about that, let's change it up here a little bit and go, okay, my back deck is clearly the paint is coming off of it, and when the buyer comes through, the buyer's going to see the back deck. And the buyer's agent, if they're savvy, let's say they're doing an FHA or VA, they're going to say, hey, that back deck is going to need to be painted, right? I don't need an inspector to tell me that. I can see it right here, okay? So when we're writing an offer, let's write an offer that includes either the seller taking care of the back deck, or we negotiate that in with our pricing up front. So now back to the example of the electrical panel. Not every buyer is an electrician, okay? In fact, most buyer's agents probably don't know what a outdated electrical panel is, and or you might even have that electrical panel covered up in the laundry room with like a cutesy little picture or something, right? So now we get the home under contract. You're excited because it's been on the market for way too long. You were hoping to be in Florida before the snow fell. Now the leaves are starting to change, and so you're on the move. You're packing. You got less money than you were hoping for. Okay. Now the inspection comes, and we're now about a week into this process, and the buyers want $2,500 credit because of an electrical panel that is no good. If you didn't know about that, that's going to sting, because that extra $2,500 was the money that you were going to use for the movers, let's say. So now you're thinking, oh my gosh, now I got to pack a... Knowledge is power. I think they used to say that back in the day, G.I. Joe. Some of you guys are probably way too young to get that. But having a pre-inspection up front can help you to know that that's coming. Also, you can identify that in your listing and say, hey, this is going to need a new electrical panel. Also, when you're listing your house, so pre-inspections I think are very key, okay? But making yourself available for the showings, cleaning the house, keeping the house clean, like that is so important. And it means like having a plan for what you're going to do with the dogs. If you're an animal person, maybe finding a place for the cat tree that's not in the living room where you normally keep it. Cat's going to have to get used to this. I'm sorry, the dog's going to have to get used to it. And you might have a little bit of an odor in the house that smells like dog or cat, but the more you can do to visually clean that house up. So put the dog bowls away, get rid of the cat tree for the showings. Like that's a lot of work, but you're selling your house for a lot of money. These buyers that are coming through may not be cat people. They may not be dog people. And you want to present this to as many people as possible. And for crying out loud, these buyers, just like when you bought this house, are probably going to be spending more money on this house than anything they buy this year, possibly in their life, right? So do they really want to buy a house that has all these dog toys and cat toys all over the house? No. And they definitely don't want your Rottweiler in the living room when they show up to see the house, right? They're going to be like, whoa, I'm a dog person. Like, that's part of my job. When I get to a place, I'm excited to see a dog, but not everybody's like that. And having a thought process around what you're going to do with your cats. Can you put them in some type of a kennel for your showings? That's going to be super important. And one of my last tips here for sellers getting ready to sell their house this year, not just cleaning the house, but it kind of goes along with dogs, cats. Maybe you've got some kind of weird smells, but just like Las Vegas, we want to do some psychological warfare. It would behoove you, especially, let's say you got a working house and you're leaving every morning. Maybe you don't have dogs, that's fine. But you're leaving every morning with a thought process that someone may be coming to show your house. Get one of those little Scentsies. I mean, 15, 20 bucks, where it melts some wax in there, and get some kind of smells that are like grandma's kitchen. I do this for open houses. So think apple pie, think lemon. I think I got lemon Danish strudel or something like that. Lemon blueberry, blah blah blah. Chocolate cookies, right? Like you don't necessarily have to bake chocolate cookies. You can get a scent-like object, something scents like SCENTS, not CENTS, or maybe I spelled it wrong, but who cares? But something that leaves a good smell in the house, so that in case you do have that random pop by, you're ready for it. But more than anything, when people walk in and it smells like apple pie, that starts to take them back psychologically to grandma's house or something like that. And there's just something that works up here in your brain that kind of makes you want the house a little bit more. So hope you enjoyed these tips. If you stuck through this video, thank you very much. Smash the like button. It would be a great thing if you'd subscribe to my channel. Set up for notifications so that you hear when I get new videos. And stay tuned, because we'll bring you more strategies, more tips, more market updates, even more listing videos in real estate North Idaho. BK knows the way.